morning tip.
Good afternoon. It is August 28th, 2019. You're listening to a Little Column A, Little Column B, hosted by William Nelson, co-hosted by Zach Bishop. How you doing today, buddy?
What is going on today, Will? I am podcasting from an undisclosed location. Earlier today, I was thinking about it. This is the fifth place that I've podcasted from, so a little bit of a road game for me today. So hopefully, not too many boos, and I can, perform the way I normally do when I'm doing a home podcast.
The thing is, you never get to hear any of the sound effects. You're getting booed every show, no matter what. I mean, I don't think you go back and listen to the show, so you wouldn't even know.
The home crowd doesn't boo me. That never happens. Like I said, I don't hear it. It doesn't happen if I don't hear it.
I like that you said undisclosed location, as if like we want to know. We need to know. Like, where's Zach right now?
I know. They're probably clamoring, but it's undisclosed.
Are you safe? Are you being held against your will? Is this how I force you to do the podcast every Wednesday?
No, because then I would start every podcast with that, but I didn't have to start it. I don't have to start every podcast like that. Just special podcasts once in a while. Every once in a while I'm out and about, not in my normal northeast area. I'm out.
This is why it's a podcast and not a like streaming video. I don't need him winking or blinking or anything. No hidden messages here. He's forever co-host slave.
No, but that does bring up a good point that we should come up with some sort of a password kind of situation to let one of each other know, because like you said, there is no winking or anything, and then we could let the listeners know.
So you want a safe word?
I think that might be safe. I think that might be prudent. That'd be a good idea. We'll think about this in the in next week. Next week we'll come up with something.
Well, I imagine you the reason you're on this new location is for work, right? You're traveling for work.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's a new job task, travel. Basically all I'm trying to transition into is that I have a job, you have a job, and that neither of us really plans on retiring anytime soon. And I'd like to think that's how Andrew Luck woke up at I'd say most mornings over the past year. And I really want to know that now that he's announced his retirement, like, when do you think he made this decision? Do you think this was decided well in advance? Like, did he live with this decision for he had to, right? At least a month, at least a week, you'd have to live with this decision that, yes, I'm retiring from football. I'm nowhere near the normal retiring age. I've had some injuries, and I've had a hell of a lot of expectations out of me. And now all of a sudden, he's retired. So I'll ask you, when do you think he made this decision? Do you think this was something he made fairly recently? Or do you think he had a better idea about this at the end of last year?
I think the final, this is what I'm definitely doing, only came in the last week. The seeds definitely must have been there. I'm thinking probably when he in 2017 missed the entire season, and just kind of had to think. You definitely got to have some low moments coming back from recovery. But I think that if he had known anytime during this summer, it's a little bit of your responsibility to let the ownership know. Season starts next week. Like, a week and a day is when it kicks off, and everyone kicks off a couple days later. So even if he was hurt and kind of going into the year, it doesn't give them a ton of time to kind of figure it out. So I just don't think that he would have purposely months ago been like, yeah, I'm going to retire. No, I'm just going to kind of hang out. From what all I see, the Antonio Brown situation, it's you do as much as you can to skip training camp and preseason, because it seems like it's just not a ton of fun.
It's real though. They don't have a quarterback right now, and I imagine Brissett's got to be the backup. The ex-Patriot is going to be their quarterback, I imagine, going forward. But even now,
well, he's not just the ex-Patriot, which I do like. That's how you just remember him. He played a season for the Colts.
Yep, that's fine. That's fine. But do you think they were going into this year giving him starter snaps, and that he was, more or less having an offense kind of built and designed around him? I mean, you got to think everything they've done in this offseason, everything they've planned for going forward is around Andrew Luck. Brissett is actually a decent quarterback, I'll say. He's a worthy starter. But they're playing very different styles right now. I don't think it's just apples and oranges. We just sub in this guy and go with that same style of everything. I think you're going to have to make some changes.
Definitely not built in as the main, okay, cool, we're moving on sort of situation, but Flex had injuries in the past, was having injuries coming in, and it seemed it was a pretty known thing, even a few weeks to a month ago, that it seemed like he was going to miss some time. It started off with, I think it was a calf injury that migrated to a knee injury, or it was like a knee injury that migrated to a calf injury. I just remember hearing, and it was, this doesn't sound good when it's kind of multiple. It's not the same injury of, he might not start the year. So he's for sure been getting starter reps. And I don't know how much you now change the offense. Well, I guess now you do fully change the offense, or you make some moves, whether it's trades, or I know they brought Osweiler in as a backup. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But then that news came out. I just came out of nowhere. And then I looked it up and I saw that he and Gronkowski are the same age, and I guess they play different positions. But when the Gronkowski news came, maybe it was just because there have been kind of hints about it all along. But this came way out of right field on me. I was not expecting this at all. This really, I had to do some research and find out what's exactly going on here. But man, that press conference was not a fun one to watch.
No, there's nothing fun about any of this. This is kind of tragic. I mean, I've asked this on the podcast before, but do you think the Colts made a mistake of trading Peyton Manning some odd years ago and investing everything into this guy? I mean, where does
I think you have to do that? I mean, Peyton would have been gone by this point anyway, too.
All right. Well, where are you ranking Andrew Luck? Like, is he almost falling into the kind of the? I mean, you hate to compare guys like this, but I mean, even especially across cross sports right now. But is he Penny? Is he Grant Hill? Is he one of these guys now? Is he Brandon Roy?
Yeah, I'd probably put more. Yeah, maybe more Brandon Roy, where it's just your body just kind of betrayed you. Like it just wasn't there anymore. The skills that you have, they're just gone.
It's still funny to me though of how much belief in it can be convincing. I just don't know if there's really concrete evidence of the way everyone kind of respects and the standard they held Andrew Luck to. I don't know. I almost feel like that he's overrated at this point because he never really got a chance to prove or develop into the quarterback everyone thought we would be. I just really wonder, like, are we going to forget about Andrew Luck in a year? Like, how long is it going to take? I don't think he's going to stay real fresh in the memory.
Not across the board. Definitely in Indianapolis, but yeah, I'd agree with that. He hasn't been around a super long time. He was the number one pick, and number one picks have a certain stigma to them of either you're really good or you're a bust. There's not a ton of area in between. And I don't think he goes into the bust category, but definitely into a unique situation of guys that retired early, and it just doesn't happen very often.
Ooh, is he Derrick Rose? Is he Derrick Rose? Is that the better comparison?
Derrick Rose is still trying to play and still going.
Derrick Rose won an MVP also.
Yeah, I think Derrick Rose is a little more towards the top. Luck went to the AFC Championship game in his third year and got demolished by the Patriots. That was the Deflategate game.
Oh, so we apparently we couldn't avoid talking about that, right? Like that inevitably had to come up. We're talking about the Colts, kind of.
I mean, I didn't say it, but I saw someone on Twitter said something about the sure things in life are death, taxes, and not making it out alive from anything Deflategate related. And yeah, everyone that kind of was part of the against the Patriots in the Deflategate thing has not gone well for them.
That's
just pointing it out.
I'm not gonna even comment on that. We're just gonna talk about anything else.
How many Tommy points did I just get?
You lost all of them for the whole year. You're gone. You lost all your Tommy points. You gotta wait till you gotta wait till the debut. You gotta wait till Kemba gets his first Celtic point.
Okay, that's fair.
Actually, if you want, all right, I'll give you your entire Celtic minute right now.
It's only 2 months away. I can make it. I can make it 60 days, no problem.
Have you been watching any of the FIBA highlights of the USA Australia or USA Canada basketball games?
Watched a long highlight of the first game, and then I was kind of confused because I haven't been following this super closely. Of the second game, we played Australia again, but we lost.
Yeah, we
So
lost.
I so it was just kind of confused because I thought, oh, we played Australia, now we're gonna move on to somebody else. But then we played them again, and I was confused. But yeah, I was interested to see the camera angle was interesting, and then heard a lot of complaints online from people that were there that it was like kind of like plastic chairs that you lawn chairs basically, and that there was no incline.
Yeah, it was
So if
just
you
a
were in the
flat.
front row or second row, you were good, but it was flat. So if you were 10 or deeper, you couldn't see anything because the court was raised, kind of like it is in the Final Four.
Imagine having concert lawn seats on a flat hill. Like there's not even a hill; it's just flat. It's just rows of people. It's like almost like a graduation kind of setup.
At least with a concert, a big part of it is just being able to hear it, and it's loud, and you're there, and you want to see, but seeing is, I would say, the less part. Where a basketball game, the whole point is to see the game. I would have been really upset.
I heard they got in even more trouble that they had advertised that the USA team was going to bring some of their big guns, and not that they didn't, but
Mm-hmm.
that like they had advertised that the Currys, the LeBrons, the Durants were on their way. That when they bought these tickets, they were like, "Come see these international stars of Team USA come, compete against our Australia guys." And that there was a whole bunch of people already upset with the tickets going in when they saw the roster that they'd already paid for. Granted, I mean, it's still an awesome team, but it is a step
That
down off of advertising to go see LeBron and company is a little different than what they actually got to see.
that part didn't that part actually didn't upset me at all. Of It's an exhibition game, so just off the bat, you want to be a little wary. And as long as they weren't advertising, hey, LeBron and Curry are coming, like last week, I'm sure when you were selling these tickets, there was a realistic expectation that the best American players were going to play in this. So it would make sense that you would advertise the best. You're not going down the list and saying there's no way for them to have predicted who was gonna fall out. So as long as you didn't continue to advertise, and then even at that point, if you're gonna go to this game, I would think you'd be savvy enough to look up beforehand and find out who's on each team, or at least who's in the running to be on these teams. I think that's a little bit on you.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It wasn't like they were on the team and then they sat or
All
just decided like last minute, like, oh, we're not coming.
all in all, the organization and the actual event was a disaster from everything I heard, from the seating to the ticket pricing to the promise of the event, and then it just looked weird. It just looked it looked like we set it up. Like in an hour, it's like, hey,
I think
we'll put the court here, we'll put chairs here. Oh, where are we gonna get chairs? Oh, we'll just rent them from an event venue. They'll just give us a whole bunch of folding chairs. We'll be fine.
I thought the angle was the angle that the way someone would film a basketball game for a movie
Yeah.
that like had watched a basketball game before but was not an avid basketball fan. Where it's like, yeah, they just kind of have it. It's like in the center and it's above the court and it tilts back and forth, or I don't know the technical term for it.
I feel like
Like it
they
was
googled a
close, but
basketball
as soon
movie,
as you
and that's how
yeah,
they.
as soon as you turned it on, it was like something's not quite right here.
No. No, and I think the big three struggled a little bit like that too. Of how do we film a half court set where you want to see a couple different camera angles, you want to see the guys up front, and still make it feel a little bit more of a traditional basketball game. They're still kind of figuring that out. Even watching some of those games now, camera angles aren't easy. I mean, they're reinventing something here. Right? It's not like like the NBA. The cameras have been running in that same angle for how long now? It's just a norm. Everything's kind of look different, but it immediately looked different. Anyways, let's transition into talking about, how about we talk about some other travel, but a little bit more fun travel. Let's talk about the guy who in 76 days did some some traveling within the United States. I'll say from coast to coast, but not the coast you're thinking of. From California to Hawaii in 76 days on a paddleboard. That seems impressive.
Yeah,
Is that an option? I didn't
yeah.
realize that we could. Was he able to bring a bag, or did they have coach, or?
I don't think the head coach. I don't think that's a thing. Uh, Have you been? We actually, I was about to say, have you been stand up paddleboarding? It's like we've been stand up paddleboarding together. We went for like a couple of hours. Do you have any interest in being out there even for a full day?
No, I'm really imagining just the Castaway scene of him getting out over the break to begin with, and then just getting all the way out there, and it's like, all right, now what? Like, I mean, how do you even know what direction you're going in? Like, and then what do you do at nights? This seems crazy to me. I don't
You
know why.
gotta
Why would
you gotta
anyone want
sleep.
to do this? Was this even a record? Is this even a Guinness World Record?
They're pretty sure it's a record. They're pretty sure. I just don't think anyone's ever kind of done this. He, it's just amazing. Just 76 days to do anything for 76 days.
All right, I'm gonna fire
Doing
away
it
some
solo. You're
questions.
just by yourself.
You got the answers. Like, what do you eat? Do we have food? Do we have sleeping arrangements? Like, well, or is this just kind of straight paddling for 76 days?
He didn't have a support vehicle following on the trip, so he had to pack everything he needed: food, desalinization system for drinking water. There were solar panels on board to keep his GPS, communications, and other equipment charged. Fully loaded, the paddleboard weighed more than 1,500 pounds. So this is almost like a small boat paddleboard. 1,500 pounds is a lot.
1,500 pounds
But
this is a ton. That's
that means that he has to use his arms and legs to move this. And yeah, you're in the water. It's not like being on land, but it still makes it more difficult.
Are you saying he could have got there faster with the lighter paddleboard? Could have done it in 70 days.
Probably, I would think so. I would think so, but I mean, you kind of need some of the stuff, and you're out in the open ocean. You're definitely going to need something a little more heavy duty for the waves and the surf you're going to have to deal with.
This seems so impossible to me. Like I'm already Zach sets the record straight. This is not true. This is false. I'm gonna hit the false button on that one. This is just ridiculous. Do you know what the miles is? Like the mileage? Like roughly how
Yes.
far is Hawaii?
Yes, it is 2,951 miles from San Francisco, California to Hawaii.
All right, you can pull the calculator out. Let's do some math right now. So, in a fictional world, in BoJack Horseman, which is just an animated cartoon, they build a road from Los Angeles to Hawaii. Just say it was a direct shot, and you're going 70 miles per hour. How many hours would that take just driving? I wish I had like a sound effect for like.
some quick math. Yeah, you make some calculator noises.
I only have a whistle and a cash machine.
So if you average 70 miles an hour, it'd be 42 hours to get there.
All right, yeah, this is crazy. This is ridiculous. It doesn't even seem possible.
So, like 2 days. It's 2 days. He paddleboard 2 days of driving, full driving, like two people in the car. You only stop to get gas, basically.
All right, very very impressive. What's the guy's name? Do we know his name?
Yes, he is a Spanish endurance athlete, and
I just want to shout out his name.
Antonio De La Rosa.
Yeah, well, shout out Antonio. What do you think his next trip is? Like, is he going to try a different continent? Hey, where do you go from here?
Dude, this guy is just he's just on another. He turned 50 on the trip, and you know how he celebrated?
Doing the trip? I don't know. Is the trip the celebration?
He celebrated with one small cookie. Well, after work yesterday, I celebrated with one small cookie, and all I did was go to work.
I'll probably have a small cookie after this podcast, just because I can.
You deserve a small cookie after a podcast. That's what a small cookie is. When you become 50 years old and you're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, I guess there's only so much you can do, but...
Oh, man. 76 days. Long time. Impressive. Shout out to that guy. Let's transition into something a little bit more out of this world, which is the NASA astronaut who has been accused of allegedly breaking the first space crime. Now, are there I know like in international waters, there's different rules. Are there different rules up there?
I thought if you, like you said, you're in international waters, I thought there were no rules. Obviously, there's rules, but that's always like the joke I've heard. Like, there's no rules in international waters. But I thought for sure if you're in space, of course there's no laws. You're like the only guy up there. It's you and another person. Who's gonna catch you? Who is gonna accuse you? You know, space pirates, right?
Yeah, space pirates. This is first thought, first thing that came to my mind.
That's what I was thinking. Space pirates. All right, so I gave you the headline. I let out some more detailed bits to give you a chance. Just venture a guess. What do you think that this guy did that was that they're thinking could be possibly the first space crime?
Maybe his registration sticker was expired.
Ooh, okay. I like that. I like that.
I can't imagine it to be something as straightforward as speeding.
How would he be speeding?
I don't know. I don't know how you could
There's
really.
no speed limit in space, and there's no space police. There's no who's gonna pull him over?
I don't know. Well, part of me wants to know what. How did he get caught to begin with? So I don't understand what he could have been doing that he got caught on, and that there was some sort of evidence that they were able to discover on it. So that's kind of what's got me baffled right now.
I like the registration guess. I thought that was really out of the thinking out of the box there. I would have thought that you were going to guess something that he stole something from another astronaut, and it was going to be kind of this sort of petty thing. I'll read you the
Did he
full,
park in a handicap?
the full headline. You don't park in space. You're just constantly going around. Big old loop. I'll give you the full headline. NASA astronaut accused of first space crime denies hacking into wife's bank account.
So he's. So this is just a completely misleading headliner. Is all this is.
How is it misleading?
Because this is just a story about somebody hacking into their wife's account, and the only reason we're talking about this is because that person also went to space.
No. He was in space. He was aboard the International Space Station when he allegedly did this. Not went to space, came back, was on Earth, and tried to hack in, allegedly.
Right. Was this just like a personal challenge?
In space.
This sounds like a personal challenge of like, well, normally in my free time when I'm on a plane and I'm looking to kill some time, I'll watch a movie, I'll read a book. This guy was like, no, I'm going to learn how to hack something, and I'm going to hack my wife's bank account from here. This is a question.
I think it was a little more nefarious from that. He and his wife were estranged, so I think that there was it was a little more snooping, and wasn't so much of a, hey, let me just see if I can do this. This was a little more of, well, I'm super far from home, and I want to find out what's going on with my wife's bank account, allegedly.
All right, so allegedly with all of this, he didn't have a decent alibi? I mean, it's not like... I mean, they weren't just immediately ruled out of being like, yeah, this guy couldn't do it from up there. They've already been like, well, this is how you would do it.
You can access the internet from up there.
Yeah, but I feel like... So you're saying the internet he's using up there is going unmonitored? It's not like the internet everywhere else, but it feels like there's always somebody monitoring it?
I'm like this. If this goes to trial, I'm for sure that that's one of the things that will come up. I don't know how much it is monitored. You are up there. I get. Okay, yeah, you're International Space Station, government, but it's also you got to live there the whole time. Is there no chance for any privacy?
I have no idea. I don't think there's any privacy anywhere for anyone anymore. I bet this guy had more privacy than any of us have. At least I'd hope so.
I don't know. There's probably a lot of cameras on there.
All right, so I'll ask you this now. First space crime. Is this additional or less punishment? Or does this fall into the regular category of hacking into your wife's? Like if he's just anywhere, does him being up in space make this better or worse? Or is he able to get out of this? Is this like a jurisdiction kind of thing?
I think if this is the only thing we hear about it, like this is one kind of thing, it's less than normal because the government came in and said, hey, this guy's a military and a national hero. He's an astronaut. Let's kind of sweep this under the rug. But if this becomes a regular news story, I think that he gets in more trouble because it's just more in the public eye, and it's just gonna be like, well, we can't just allow people to just be breaking into their other people's bank accounts, and they'll drop the hammer on them, say, be like, hey, even astronauts, you do the wrong thing, you're in trouble, buddy.
My original guess of all this was going to be that he didn't like Top Gun, as if that was some like intergalactic lie that would get you into trouble.
Yeah, be careful. You're on record.
I've heard a lot of feedback from the last show. I'd share it with you, but a lot of you listeners already told me, so there's no real reason in telling you what you just told me.
Yeah, just careful.
Speaking of being careful,
you already spent one podcast digging a hole. Maybe don't dig a hole 2 podcasts in a row.
You know what? No, it wasn't a hole. It wasn't a hole. All right, it's a boring summer. I made it exciting. That was the strongest podcast we've had all summer.
All right.
It's got to be like nobody else talks to either of us about any podcast. We had a lot of people talking last week.
We sure did.
Speaking of making a deal and caring about safety right now, the NFL is adding additional rules to their helmets, and Antonio Brown is still upset with all that. I think we finally managed to figure all that kind of situation out, but they've recently announced that they've done a deal with Oakley and are making additional changes to the helmet now. Now, from my understanding, this is actually going to make it a little bit more lenient. But what's the deal with all this? How did this come about? Oakley and the NFL now have a partnership, and they're going to be – is that going to be a visor they have in every single helmet or just some helmets?
So it's going to be optional, but what the rule has been is this year still and has been is that states that clear shields are allowed, but that tinted eye shields, you can only wear them if you have a waiver from a doctor, all legit, like, hey, there's something wrong with your eyes. This is a medical thing, not I just want to look cool kind of thing. What the NFL and Oakley have agreed on is that Oakley is going to provide the option of, it's called Prism Clear shields. And it has a slight color tint that's engineered to help optimize detail recognition in the football environment, is a quote from the company. So not full sunglasses, but there's going to be a slight colored tint to them.
Is that performance enhancing?
It sure seems that way, right?
I think
right in the quote of to help optimize detail recognition in the football environment.
Does this help the NFL get out of hot water, or does this make it worse?
This makes it worse.
Because I kind of could see that they could have spun this in the way of like, we're working with Oakley now. We're going to allow the players to do what they want a little bit more. Now they'll have the option to do this. That's all we're doing is bringing more helmet options to the players. Could have been spun that way. From everything I heard about this, it is not being spun that way at all. It's like, hey, we're going to make more money, and we're going to partner up with these guys who are also a really big deal, and we're both going to make more money, and nobody's going to be as happy because we're not really changing any of the rules.
That's kind of my takeaway of it. The kind of the no fun league. Yeah, no, you can't have tinted visors. Well, why not? Well, no, because the other guy can't see your eyes. Who cares? He's wearing a tinted visor too. You can't see his eyes. It's gonna be fine. Nope, this is can't have this. Well, actually, no. Now that we have this corporate agreement, it just sounds just like a complete money grab of now you can wear this slightly tinted sort of thing, and like you said, now both companies are gonna make oodles of money off of this, and just could have easily done it in a cooler way, and rather than it just seems almost like a corporate press release of we are going to make more money today.
Anything but this would have been fine. I mean, they could have spun this into this. They could have made it really sound super bullshit, as if this addresses and solves the Antonio Brown problem. Even if it has no relation to it at all, it could have just been like
with a helmet. This is a visor. How does that do anything with Antonio Brown?
It's an addition to the helmet. It's an option to the helmet they didn't have.
But his thing was he wanted the old helmet because he liked the way it fit.
well, sorry, we
I don't
can't
even
give
think
you
he had a
old stuff,
visor.
but we can give you new stuff. I'm just saying that's how I would have sold it. And maybe that's
Oh,
how it was
okay.
initially sold. Like if I were to make this announcement, I wouldn't have even said NFL and Oakley make partnership. It would have been like NFL offers additional options for helmets, even though that's complete bullshit and it doesn't really mean that's not really what they're
It just
offering here.
kind of just a different spin on it. Okay, I get what you're saying now.
It's just they could have. I feel like they're burying themselves right now. They could have made themselves look a little bit better in the public eye, but they really don't care. They're all about making money. They're really good at that, and they're going to continue to do that. It's kind of hard to be surprised by something like this. You could say that about almost any of their decisions, though, where they easily could have spun things out to, save face a little bit. I truly don't care.
Well, well,
But
it's a non-profit business, so I'm sure they're gonna do the right
for sure. Yeah, actually, you want to talk about
thing.
nonprofit? You want to talk about some Dwight Howard contracts right now? Uh,
Sure.
so over the summer, the Lakers obviously made some really big additions, bringing in, the trade for Anthony Davis, and then signing DeMarcus Cousins and Danny Green, and a couple other things like that happened. And then some injuries happened, and DeMarcus Cousins doesn't look like he will probably ever play basketball again. And the Lakers do not have the depth that the roster wise to really compete this year. They need another big man. And guess who's on the market and has recently signed with the Los Angeles Lakers? Dwight Howard is now a Los Angeles Laker again, and he has some
Welcome back.
interesting protections under his contract. So, from my understanding, nothing's guaranteed. Go ahead, break
Nope.
down the details of this contract here. How long is it for? What kind of money is he
Oh no, I
making?
was I was I was I was I was saying no. I was agreeing with you saying no, being you were correct, not the
Oh,
no
oh, okay.
you had that incorrect.
So he's got nothing guaranteed. What else is going on with this contract?
So this is pretty unique. I didn't even know this was allowed or how this exactly works, and I feel like I didn't hear this when this initially came up. But we're just kind of scrolling through Twitter and then just saw the headline of uh, Dwight Howard has zero salary protection on contract with Lakers. I said, huh, what exactly does that mean? Turns out he's basically on a daily deal. He gets $14,490 for every day he's on the roster, starting October 21st. If he gets hurt or they in preseason get tired of him and say, "Dude, we can't stand you. Please go away before the October 21st," they owe him $6,000, and that is it. See you later.
So my original thought the second you sent me this was you remember in the newsroom where the anchor is essentially given a new producer, and it's his old producer who
Mm-hmm.
used to be his old girlfriend, and there's a variety of reasons of why they would never want to work together, but the guy in charge said, nope, you guys did the best news when you worked together. I'm putting you guys back together. And the anchor who had all the
Good luck.
power and the upper hand of all this was like, nope, I want to have the power to fire her whenever I want. And he goes and
Mm-hmm.
negotiates his non-compete clause in his contract in order to have the power to fire her after every single show. Every single show, he'll have the option to fire her.
Mm-hmm.
Just seems like the worst, most embarrassing contract that nobody should ever sign, that you would only sign if you just knew you could actually help and make it work, if you're willing to risk it all. So, do you think Dwight Howard's going to make it work with all that kind of being said? Because this is an embarrassing contract. You would only agree to this if you actually thought you could put up with it and make it work. Otherwise, it's not worth it.
Well, why do you say that it's embarrassing?
I mean, he could have made more money and had more guaranteed money signing with any other team.
You think so?
He could have stayed with Memphis.
How much was he getting paid in Memphis? I don't
More,
think that
more
he
than
could
six,
have. I think because they cut him.
more than $6,000.
No. The 6,000 is only if he doesn't start. Like is only if he gets cut from the team before the season starts.
Yeah, so that means when that season starts, he needs to be in shape. He needs to be listening. He needs to be obedient. He needs to be on top of his shit. Otherwise, he's gone. He's got no rope, no leniency. I feel like that's embarrassing that to kind of be walking on eggshells. You make any mistake or you do something, inappropriate, you're gone. You're done. I think it's kind
But
of
don't you think,
embarrassing
as a
that.
professional athlete, that you should be able to have confidence that you're gonna at the very least make it to opening night?
All right, Dwight is not your average professional athlete, and that I think I'm just putting him in a different box, in a different category of type of guy, and a type of contract, type of personality that really shouldn't have signed a contract like this, because it's going to blow up in his face, and I kind of can't wait for it. I really can't wait. But so, do you think it's going to work? I don't think this is going to work. I don't think Dwight's a Laker past Christmas.
What do you envision is going to happen?
I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to fit into the team as well as everyone wants him to. I think he's going to clog up the paint, and I don't think he's going to make up enough stuff on defense. He can't shoot. He can't really spread anything out. I don't know if he's the right guy to run pick and roll with for either guy. I guess Anthony Davis and LeBron James can. I just think he's a weird fit on the team. I thought Cousins was a good fit because he could at least stretch out and space out things and shoot the three. Dwight. Dwight can barely hit a free throw, let alone a jump shot. I mean, how is he going to help this team? He's just another guy that was available.
I don't think, like all of this with like they're looking for centers and they picked up Boogie who was hurt. I don't think they're looking for some stud center. They're not expecting the very top of the line. I think they're just looking for a like spot minute, 12 minutes a night kind of guy. Like just, hey, bang with some bodies, so Anthony Davis doesn't have to do it the entire time. But I don't think they're looking for a guy playing 30-plus minutes.
Well, who's going to play 30-plus minutes over him? Someone has to play.
Yeah, I think that as much as Anthony Davis says, I don't want to play center, I think it's going to go, oh, well, you were Dwight, man. You're going to have to.
It's all going to blow up in their face. That's all. That's what
I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen.
Well, it's going to happen. Anyways, you ready? You ready to do a little game show here? Let's do Zach Sets the Record Straight.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I am ready. I'm going to win this time.
come on.
I don't know about all that. Anyway, so every Wednesday, check out the website lcalcb.com. We do the game show at some point in the show here. It's called Zach Sets the Record Straight, where he reads out 3 Guinness World Records. 2 of them are false. 1 of them is true. Goal of the game is for me to guess which is which. So without further ado, Zach, go ahead and read out the first Guinness World Record.
All right, the first one that we have is mariachi dancers break world record in Mexican City. That would be 882 people danced to mariachi music for 5 sustained minutes. First one, we have mariachi dancers. The second one, UAE store breaks record with 11-foot tall mustard tower. Got a mustard tower.
Ooh.
The last one, 88 students use contraption to play a single piano, break world record. So we have mariachi dancers, we have a mustard tower, and we have
All right.
a whole bunch of kids playing the piano.
All right, the dancing sounds true. 800 people doing mariachi. That doesn't even seem like that. Actually, maybe that is false because that doesn't seem like enough. Like that could easily just be a bigger number. Yeah, that one. I also think the piano one's not true also, though. All right, so with the piano thing, they built something, and the record is how many pieces they use?
Let me look a little further here. This was at...
The craziest thing is I think the mustard tower is true. Like that's the wild thing. This game is already playing games on me, especially having the confidence I have of being successful the past couple. What's the deal with the piano?
So it was the University of Sheffield's Faculty of Engineering, Advanced Manufacturing Research Center, and Department of Music worked with elementary school students from across the country to develop a mechanical system that would allow people to play the same time on the same piano, on a single piano.
All right, that sounds like it has to be true.
So to give you an idea, picture a piano with a whole bunch of rods coming off of it and fanned out enough that basically every kid has got one of them in their hand, able to play it. Yeah, you really gotta know if how many keys are on a piano. That would help.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
All right, so the
Yeah,
piano
try to
one's
give you-
the piano
to
one's
help you out
false.
there.
Piano one's false.
Nope, piano one is absolutely true.
All right, what's the right answer?
The false one was the mustard tower. It was not a mustard tower. It was a ketchup tower. Who would build something out of mustard? That's silly. I told you I was gonna win.
Boo! I've been robbed. I feel like I was cheated on that one.
Guess,
I was cheated on me.
guess how many bottles of ketchup it took to make a 11-foot tall tower?
Oh man. Now is a tower of empty bottles or of just the bottles are just stacked on like one another?
I imagine they're full.
No. I'm asking, did they take the
It's
ketchup
big.
out of the bottles into some other container
oh.
that was now 11 feet tall, or
no.
are these just bottles of
No.
ketchup that were stacked into a tower?
Bottles of ketchup that are stacked on top of each other.
All right. See, that's why I got that wrong right there. I don't know, 500 bottles. I have no idea.
883.
That's a reasonable guess. I'm all right with that. I'm not disappointed by that. I am a little disappointed I didn't get this one this week right. What is my record now? Am I floating 500 again?
You were right around 500. You had gotten 2 or 3 in a row, so I had to make it a little more difficult to, make sure that you're still hungry for this game. You don't think that it's just something easy, that it's not a big deal. You got to start practicing, running things through your brain, just knowing things, knowing how many keys are on a piano.
I thought that was the key to it being false, was that you assuming that I didn't know some logical thing like that and just not being able to figure it out. I thought that was the hint of like knowing this would tell you the answer, and I just assumed, yeah, that's false.
Nope, 52 white keys, 36 black keys. Everybody knows that.
Do they? Because I don't know how to do that, but I could probably play a piano.
No, I just googled that real quick. How many keys on a piano? And then it just like gave the little thing of just like right there. No, I had no idea.
Yeah,
it wasn't until I looked it up right before, and was just, I wonder why it's 88. And then it was like, oh, probably because it's how many keys are on a piano.
Well, I think now is about time in the show where I start reviewing another old classic movie that everyone likes and just destroying it and just tearing it all apart, tearing it to shreds. Let's just move on to another movie. So what's the latest movie that you're falling in love with and I could just tell you sucks?
I think you have to come up with like a reason for it.
No, I just kind of want my own segment. I feel like you got your own and
No, oh no, I agree with that, but I don't think I can bring, or you can ask the listeners to just be like, hey, what about this movie? And then you just be like, oh, that sucks. That's not, like, I don't think that's how it works. I think you have to bring the movie to the table.
All right.
So you're like, how you guys all really like Hunger Games and Jennifer Lawrence? This is why it was a terrible movie and why she's an awful person. And then you go down the list and you just shock everybody. And
are there people that actually think that?
Oh, I have no idea. I didn't know a lot of, I think we're going to learn a lot. I think we're going to learn a lot about your taste, and I don't know, I'm just going to try to speak for America as best I can.
Should I just go all anti-American movies? I don't think that's the right direction to go with. I think if you went in with anti-American movies as being bad, I think that would help you, but I don't think that's what you meant. So yeah, I'm down with creating another segment where you're more in charge, or you kind of want to, it's your segment. We can name it Will. We'll have to get something creative there. But yeah, I'm on board with that. I'd rather just derail a conversation every now and then, and rather than it to be a kind of scheduled and planned and actually well thought out argument. I just want it to be a spot on the point kind of rant where just off the top, boom, here you go.
Stuff to do. I think if it's going to be a little tricky for me to be prepared for it, but if you had some sort of trained soundtrack to let the listeners know that it was coming, that could work.
Speaking of hard to do, allegedly, is this actually happening, or is this I knew there was somebody in college that wanted to do this, but is there officially a women's kicker in the NFL?
So not in the NFL, but Carli Lloyd who's just coming off the U.S. Women's Soccer World Cup victory. Very successful. She's was at the Eagles Ravens practice. I think this was the it was like last week or maybe a little before that. And there's videos of her kicking 55-yard field goals. Like, okay, that's pretty much, you got to be able to do that for sure. And was hitting them pretty regularly. And so there's just kind of been some, I'm going to say, some interest, and they've asked her. And she said, definitely not this year. She's got some soccer commitments, but is thinking, like kind of mulling the idea of doing it in 2020, but not as like so much of a, maybe like a kind of sneak in, but very much my soccer thing ends. I'm going to have a whole off season to practice this and really find out if I'm going to be able to do this or not. Sounds like her coach has also kind of thrown in that he said, nope, she's kind of serious about this. I think she's going to give it a try. I think she could definitely do it. So there was talk also that a GM in the past week or so sent her a note offering to give her a spot on the team for a preseason game, which she declined because I think she thought it would be more of like a gimmick. It's like, okay, a preseason game, and just kind of like try to get people to the field, or even just if she gets in to kick a PAT, and then there's all the headlines of, and then whatever team kind of gets some good press. But
Yeah. So
she's also kind of looking at it as a.
do you think teams will fight over her?
I don't think so.
No, you don't think they'll? You think it'll be a short list of teams interested? I don't know. What is the kicker turnover
so.
rate, anyways? Are there like a lot of kickers just being in and out? I know that's kind of semi new, but ever since the rule change, they pushed back the extra point. That it feels like there's a little bit more turnover in this position right now. Where and that kind of makes me think she's gonna get a decent chance, and if she has success, I also imagine it's got to be kind of hard to fire or get rid of a kicker if they're just doing their job. I mean, you either make the kick or you don't.
Yeah, and so I think that I don't know exactly what the turnover rate is for it. There's 32 teams, so there's only really 32 jobs. So very difficult to get. I think what helps her is she's 37. She's had a ton of success in soccer. She scored 3 goals in the World Cup, has 113 in her career, which is 7th all time in women's soccer history. She's won 2 FIBA Player of the Year and two-time World Cup champion. So very successful. So she's not going to come in. It's a very new environment, but at 37, you're going to be older than pretty much everybody on the team. So now you're coming in, you're kind of the same age. You're a little bit older. I think it's definitely going to be a foreign. It's going to be unusual. Just like the whole thing every time of how does a woman handle the locker room? It's like well, I think it's a little easier when everyone's not quite the same age. So I'll be interested to see if it goes any farther. I know one of the comments was in the video when she's kicking, she's taking 5 steps, where in the NFL it's just 2 steps. And so someone's like, she'll never be able to do that if she can only take 2 steps. But it's also, hey, she just went to practice with like her husband and like her brother-in-law or something, and just showed up. Who like if we just showed up and then made a crazy catch, and it's like, oh well, I don't know if you noticed, but he really only got 1 foot down. Like, well, yeah, I just showed up to an NFL practice, but did you see what I did? I still did something awesome.
Yeah. All right. So gut feeling. Does she ever actually play a snap in the NFL?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Not even a preseason? Not even one preseason? This
No.
seems inevitable. This is going to happen.
I think it would be cool. I think it would be cool if it happened, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think just it'll be either some team, it'll be too gimmicky for her and she won't think it's serious, so she won't take it, or it'll kind of just be too much of a NFL that has been for her just be a boys club and just no, we don't want to have, it's almost like a Colin Kaepernick thing of like, hey, this would probably be good. You'd get some real positive attention for this, and just no, we don't want this attention. We don't want a distraction.
I don't know.
It's
I
like,
don't know
hey,
what it'll be.
might as well help you win games.
I'm sure we will see her do at least an extra point in a preseason game. Although I would fully respect her for just not doing it, being like, no, I don't want to just say I did it. I want to actually, participate and be on a team. I don't want to just do this one time. So that seems pretty cool. We'll have to keep an eye out on that.
I for sure, super successful at soccer, but just there's just so many other people that are focused solely on becoming a kicker that I would just think it's got to be so difficult that you couldn't just decide this late in your career, I think I'm going to go over and do this. I could be totally wrong. A guy like LeBron at this point could probably go over to another sport and be able to figure it out just because he's just a crazy, good athlete and just super big and everything. But I think it almost just like if it was just just switch over. I think more people would be doing it, and there's just too many even just college guys that are doing it that don't make it that are good.
Well,
you gotta like there's only like I said there's only 32 spots. It's it's really tough.
it also is just kicking though. I think that's the only factor that makes me think, well, maybe they could do it. It's not like you have to learn an entire playbook or anything, or learn how to run routes or throw a football or anything. It's like you're learning something that's similar to something you've already been professional at and very good at, and just kind of addressing it in a different nature. Like it's just in a different room, in a different field. But it's a lot of similarities. But that'll be cool. Either way, I think that's a fun story. I think that might actually happen. I think hopefully there'll be a time in the podcast where we actually talk about that. Speaking of things that I didn't think we'd ever talk about on the podcast, we got a Breaking Bad movie coming. This is all happening. The trailer came out earlier this week. Did you get a chance to see what's going on with Jesse Pinkman these days?
Saw the headline, did not even know the trailer had come out.
Oh, you didn't see the trailer? Oh man,
No,
all right.
I did not see the trailer.
I will put the trailer on the website, lcalcb.com. I don't even want to spoil anything right now, but there is a trailer. It's coming in October. Vince Gilligan is directing it. He's the guy who's been in charge of creating Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. So we kind of got our guy. I know Jesse Pinkman is in it, which is, what's the actor name? I'm blanking right now. I've read his name so much.
Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul will be in it.
Put me on the spot there. Ooh, that's a lot of pressure.
There isn't any news about Bryan Cranston being in it. It does sound like he's involved. I don't know what this movie's going to be. It really feels like this is just a post Breaking Bad. Like from my understanding and the little trailer that gives off, we're kind of picking up right where we left off. And that's really all I'll say without spoiling it. I mean, it's only like a 1-minute trailer we got, so you're not really getting a whole lot. Man, I'm real shocked that you didn't see that. I just thought of that right now. But Breaking Bad movie coming.
When did the trailer come out?
This probably like 2 days ago, I want to say.
Yeah, it's probably the traveling just kind of slipped through the cracks on me.
Oh man, all right, yeah, I'll definitely put that on the website later.
And we could do a deep dive next pod.
Well, I'm hoping that we get more information the closer it gets, but it's coming in October, which is not that far away. I mean, that's here. That's coming. It'll be a Netflix original and released straight on there. I think it'll be in some select theaters just because any movie that goes on Netflix, I think they try to release in some select theaters so it registers the the award minimum or whatever it is if the movie can qualify to win any musical or any video awards. I don't know. But I'm excited about that. Expectations for a Breaking Bad movie.
There's always been the talk of it. We even got an argument. I can't remember if it was on the pod or right before the pod of like, this news already came out. No, it didn't. And then back and they've been joking back and forth. And there was the what everyone thought was the advertisement for the movie, but turned out was just for their brand of tequila. It just seems like there's been a lot of teasing, and October is really not that far away.
No, so that is the other thing. From my understanding, this was entirely secretly filmed. Like nobody, it's done. It has to be done. There's not much getting done between now and October. So we know nothing about it, and it's already done.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know if that makes it better or worse. I don't know if they're just trying to hold in all the surprises, whether it's cast or story or maybe it's just not that good. I don't know. This could easily be a cash grab at this point. And would you even blame him if it was?
I would hope not. I don't think Vince Gilligan would do that. I think he's got too much going on with because Better Call Saul is still going on. You don't want to think up your own universe.
How many movies do you think we get out of this? Because from my understanding, it sounds like we're getting at least 2. And that's an assumption, but I feel like this isn't dying yet. Better Call Saul is coming to an end soon, and I don't think they're done with this Breaking Bad universe. And I don't know what comes next.
I don't know exactly what their plans are, but with just all the way that it seems like the entertainment works now is if you got something good, you create a whole universe, and you just keep creating and go for as long as you can. There's really no reason to just say, no, we're good. It's, we have something that everybody knows the characters. Let's keep running with it as long as we can.
Yeah, I'm on the same plan as that. So we'll keep up to date with that. I'm excited for it. Probably is there anything else you're looking forward to more than that this year?
This year?
Like as of right now, what else is going to come out the rest of this year that you're actually looking forward to as much as this movie? I think it's going top of the list right now. I can't think of anything else.
New season of Letterkenny?
No, not on this level. This is Breaking Bad. It's been a while.
Half of Breaking Bad.
Allegedly, I think you're
I'm
gonna get.
Better Call Saul. I think I'll be good with like Better Call Saul.
I could argue.
Not the movie so much. It's just the.
You want another season of that? I think the next season is gonna be the last one.
I don't know, man. I don't think so. They haven't even done anything like within the Breaking Bad kind of timeline yet. I think they originally were going to do only a few, and I think that once they saw their success, they kind of pumped the brakes on getting to the Jesse stuff, and maybe this movie like ties it together or starts it off even more. I don't know.
Can't wait. But anyways, that's gonna be the podcast for this week. We'll be back next Wednesday, 3 o'clock, records live, lcalcb.com. Make sure you check out and follow Zach on his Twitter, which is
Wicked Z-Man 24.
And check out soldbywill.com for all your San Diego real estate needs. And don't forget to go buy some merch. We do have our own podcast merch. It's on Amazon. Get that 2-day delivery. We got some sweatshirts, some T-shirts. Those are all on the website as well, lcalcb.com. Anything else to add for the people out there?
Yeah, I want to give a shout-out to Reggie. He's one of the guys that I'm working with down here this week. Told him at lunch about the podcast, and kind of just asked the cursory, what do you guys talk about? Oh, yeah, wait, you do this? Oh, that's pretty cool. What's the name of it? Pulled his phone out, subscribed. So, got a new subscriber today, and just always cool when there's not a lot of, hey, you should listen, you should do this. Just, nope, for sure. You seem like a cool guy, boom, subscribe.
Well, shout out to him then. Hopefully we'll listen to this one and listen next week. Zach, safe travels with everything over there. Try not to break any space laws.
Little column A, little column B.